Hey, what's up everyone? In this topic of this video, we're going to talk about there's certain things that I choose to brag about and there's certain things I choose not to brag about. Let's go to the first one. There's certain things I choose to brag about. Like say you already know, I brag about running a lot. I brag about my guitar skills. I brag about how much I love to eat. I brag about how good my YouTube channel is. I brag about my lifestyle. And that very thing I brag about later on, I later started openly brag about is this. The fact that I got I had 20 girls that held my hand over the years. And I had I got like 20 something women that held me over the years. I don't see how in the world that's even possible. You can tell look at my face. I'm I'm decent looking as far as my face and everything. And when you think about it, 90% of female, 90% of girls will look at me and I'm not very attractive. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm what you call from 5 out of 10 for somewhat 5 point something out of 10. Even if I have a physique like Justin Gatlin, even if I'm some bodybuilder, even if I'm big like a bodybuilder, I don't care how big. Even if I'm shredded, I'm still what you call a 5 out of 10. See, having muscles doesn't make you any more attractive. If your face doesn't say that, then you're gonna have a hard time getting a girlfriend. It's not just about muscles and how fast you run and how much you can lift is what attracts girls. Of course it does. It attracts a lot of them. But if your face, if you have if your jawline is not good, unless you can find some way, let's say, I wouldn't recommend plastic surgery. That's gonna make you even more ugly than you actually are. I would either looks maxing. I don't know what looks maxing is. I don't even know what Max. I heard a lot of YouTube videos. I heard a lot of YouTubers who always talk about looks maxing. What in the world's looks maxing? I don't know what that is. Y'all let me know in the comments what looks maxing is. I don't even know what looks maxing is. I've never done it before, but I probably won't. All they do is take their tongue and do that. I ain't doing that. I ain't gonna be sitting here. I ain't gonna be sitting here in this chair, do that to my tongue. I'll just refuse not to. And the thing we're talking about is certain things certain things I brag about, certain things I don't brag about. Back to the video of what we're talking about here. The things I choose to brag about is running, how fast I play, how good I play guitar, how good my YouTube channel is. I always brag about how much I love food. I've always bragged about how good my lifestyle is. And I brag about how many girls that held my hand over the years. I got 20 girls that held my hand over the years. And I had 20 women that held me over the years. I'm not even that attractive. I'm what you call a 5 out of 10. As far as looks wise, I'm a 5 out of 10. But here I am, having 20 girls that somehow held my hand. And women out there that somehow held me over the years. And I'm not even that attractive. The fact that I asked women to hold me or whatever, the fact that I asked girls to hold me, I started doing that at 12 years old. So I've been asking girls to hold me, and I've been asking girls to hold me for about 10 years. Ever since I was 12 years old, I'll be at church asking the women to wrap their arms around me. I'm not joking. I will literally tap on their shoulder and whisper, this. I would absolutely do that. My mom think it's weird, but I don't care. I don't care. As long as God is okay with it. As long as God. See, now one thing about asking girls to hold me, whatever. There's certain women that God allows me to ask to hold me, and there's certain women, like, if they're too young, God was like, nope, don't do that. So there's certain women that God allows me to ask to hold me, and there's certain women that ask that God wouldn't allow to ask to hold me. And see how I'm brag about how much of my life, how good my lifestyle is. See how much I brag about how many girls that held me over the years, about how many girls that held my hand over the years. See I'm bragging about it now. Those are the certain things that I choose to brag about. Now we're gonna go to the certain things that I choose not to brag about. There's only one. That very thing that I refuse to brag about. If somebody asks me, "Are you a good person?" Either I refuse to answer, or I'll just simply say, like this right here. I'm gonna say, I don't want to brag. Anybody who brags about being generous is not a generous person. I would rather get cancer and somebody shoots me in the head before the doctor tells me the final news about me having 2 weeks to live than to sit here in this chair and brag about how generous I am. That's not something that God wants me to do. Like, I've already bragged, and it's already bad enough that I brag about how fast I am, how good of a guitarist I am, how good my lifestyle is, how good my YouTube channel is, and how good food is, about how much I love by using my phone, and how many girls that held my hand over the years, and how many women that held me over the years. It's already bad enough that I brag about that. I don't want to add another bragging about how generous I am. Anybody who brags about being generous is not a generous person. Case closed. You know what that person's going to say if I told him all that? They would think to himself, look at that and say, you really are a generous person. There's a reason. That is exactly why I refuse to brag about being a generous person. It's not only God wouldn't like that. Also, anybody who brags about being generous is not a generous person. And like I said, I would rather get cancer than somebody shoots me in the head before the doctor gives me the news about having 2 weeks to live than to stand here and brag about being generous. Because like I said, anybody who brags about being generous is not a generous person. So that's it for this video. So make sure to subscribe, smash that like and click the notification bell. See you guys later. Rocket as always. God bless you. God love you. Stay fast. Homie, nothing to give you. Not kill me. To kill me. Cool. Now you know there's certain things I choose to brag about, and there's certain things I choose not to brag about. The things I choose to brag about is running, my music, good food, my social media, and the fact that I have like 40-something females that held me. 40-something women. 40-something. Can you imagine how many women that is? 40-something women that was willing to hold me. 40-something women. Very few of them asked them why. Very few of them asked me why. Very few of them. And I'm not even like, look at me. I'm not even like, I'm not even close as good looking as what's his name? Justin Bieber. I'm not even close as good looking as Justin Bieber. I'm like a 5 out of 10. You can tell that. 5 out of 10. And I have 40-something women that held me. How? Anyway, so make sure to subscribe, smash the like, and click on the notification bar. See you guys. Word rocking as always. God bless you. Always stay back. Know that get out. Keep making cool. Yeah.